Okay, I know this isn't exactly the iceberg that won the poll I put out the other day, so please do forgive me. The lost and cancelled video game Iceberg is in production as we speak. However, today I wanted to speak about something that is very close to each of us, and something that I've slightly spoken about before in previous videos, that being our fears. Kind of like a Shadow of Mordor orc, we each have fears and phobias, some of them very rational, some of them not so much. So if you don't know what an iceberg chart is, it's a way of visually displaying information with more light-hearted and well-known subjects on top, and more obscure and dark facts on the bottom. Now I'm going to put a disclaimer here because firstly, I'm not a phobia expert or anything, so if I get anything wrong, please be respectful about it. And also, I can't stress this enough, watch this video at your own risk, because you might discover that you have a fear that you didn't know you had before. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the darkest, the weirdest, and the most obscure fears and phobias out there. So there's no going back now, so buckle up for the ride. This is the Fears and Phobias Iceberg Explained. Up first we have trypophobia. I am not going to show any pictures in this because I have this fear. So yeah, everyone else with trypophobia, you're fine. Essentially, trypophobia is the fear or disgust of small and irregular holes in something, and I don't know what it is about these holes, but I simply can't stand them. It's disgusting to me. My brain hates the pattern. I'm blurring these pictures here, but if you want to go look it up, be my guest. I'm not going to stay on this for another second. I can't stand... I hate it. I hate it. It's awful. From what I understand, agoraphobia is the fear of not being able to escape from a location if things go wrong, and so people with agoraphobia have trouble going out into the world because they can't really control what's going to happen. They can't be in large crowds due to the uncertainty that comes along with it. This leads agoraphobes to kind of shut themselves off from society, staying in their house for days, weeks, months, or even years on end, and it actually is quite a serious phobia because it does impact your day-to-day life. Claustrophobia is simple. It describes people who are afraid to be in confined and small spaces. This is apparently due to them not kind of being in control, similar to agoraphobes. And according to the NHS website, if you meet a claustrophobe, you should probably give them some space. They don't like kind of people being up in their personal space due to their fear. Something such as the trash compactor scene in Star Wars is like the ultimate no-no for a claustrophobe, because it's like the walls are literally closing in, and yeah, they hate that kind of stuff. Arachnophobia, this old chestnut, is the fear of spiders. I also kind of have this one too. I'm not the worst with spiders, but if it's bigger than like half the size of my palm, it's a no from me. Now, personally, I've always been interested in arachnophobia because so many people are just terrified of spiders. It's got to be the most kind of common fear in the world, definitely up there. And after doing a bit of research, I've kind of found that it likely comes from our DNA, because spiders centuries ago were just a lot bigger of a threat to human life. And even today, in some parts of the world, Australia, they can kind of be deadly. And so humans just evolved to say no, run away, or I'm going to kill you or something. I don't know, they're creepy, man. Just the way they walk, and they're kind of like a bug predator. I'm not really a fan of them. I'm not too bad with the smaller ones, but big ones, I'm not so big on. Acrophobia is the fear of heights. Weirdly enough, I also kind of have this one. Actually, no, I definitely have this one. I am not a scaredy cat, but heights, man, I hate them. Spiders, I don't like them, but I wouldn't really call it too much of a fear, rather than just yeah, kind of get it away from me if it's too big. Heights, though, all day long, I am pretty afraid of them. I hate being in high up places with like a single railing between me and a drop down to certain death. Humans are meant to be on the ground, so keep us down here. Regardless though, fear of heights is kind of like, genetically, it just makes sense, because being in up high places is dangerous. And so, you know, maybe people in the past have died from heights, and we've kind of internalized it into our DNA to just stay away from high up places because you might die. Glossophobia is the fear of public speaking, and unlike the rest of these, you know, so far that I have been actually quite afraid of, I actually quite like public speaking, like some sort of heathen. You know, I guess you can even say this is a form of public speaking. Now, this fear kind of goes deeper than speaking in front of people. It's a mixture of embarrassment, but it's predominantly the fear of rejection. By speaking publicly, you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position, being held at the audience's mercy, at their judgment. So luckily I don't have this, because I kind of play things off, but again, it's one of the most common fears, and if anything, it kind of says something about society and how we're so quick to judge and mock that people are just afraid of speaking out publicly. Chlorophobia, the fear of clowns, Now, while there is much debate as to why so many people are afraid of clowns, it's generally more unknown than some of these other fears. It's not as clear-cut as spiders or heights, for example, because those are dangerous potentially, but it's theorised that it could potentially be down to a traumatic experience or maybe even hereditary. The fear of clowns is actually something quite new, not being seen amongst humans widely before the late 1900s. This is another one that I don't have, luckily. I actually quite like clowns, but with all the fears and stuff, I think that clowns are going to die out as a profession. I personally theorise that the fear of clowns is due to the uncanny valley effect, the fact that they're almost human but not quite. You know, they have human features but they don't look human like you or I. You know, when you kind of look at a little toy tin robot, that's kind of fine, but when you look at an android that looks just like us, that's kind of when the human brain crosses that line and it doesn't like it anymore. Clowns are human but not quite, and so we kind of find that really weird and off. Ailurophobia. I just want to put this one in because I only know one person who has this fear and they have it bad. Sal Volcano from the Impractical Jokers is deathly afraid of cats. Now, some people kind of put the fear of cats down due to the fact they're often a sign of evil or bad luck. It's a superstitious thing, you know, black cats and such, but often the fear is due to the predatory nature of a cat, because at the end of the day, whilst a dog is extremely well domesticated, cats kind of keep a bit of their natural instincts. They're their own boss. People give Sal a lot of crap for his fear, but at the end of the day, for as weird as it is a fear, and it is kind of rational in a sort of sense that cats are predatory. There probably is some reason, you know, like with bigger cats and stuff, it might have been hereditary, passed down through the years. Xenophobia is the opposite. It's the fear of dogs. I actually used to have this one a little bit a few years back because I got chased down the beach by a dog. I've since overcome it, which is good for me because I love dogs. I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. I think dogs are one of the best things on earth. But most people say they're afraid of dogs due to the massive damage that a dog can cause. If you get attacked by a dog, it can be quite traumatizing. Say like an ordinary house cat, for example, can probably only do a few scratches here or there, but a German Shepherd or a Pit Bull can be more deadly. And in the USA alone, dogs kill about 20 to 30 people each year, with many more being bitten and injured. So it is quite a somewhat common fear, even though dogs, you know, by their nature are loving animals and creatures. Some people might have bad experiences with them, which leads to the fear of dogs. Hemophobia is the fear of blood, and this one can actually be quite serious because a lot of people with this fear don't go to the doctors due to it. It can be very unhelpful in stressful situations involving blood, and so if you have this fear, I feel like it's my personal duty to tell you to go to the doctors. I don't think I have to explain why this is a fear, like, it's blood. Blood only leaves your body when things go wrong, so that does make sense, but it can be quite dangerous, especially in the modern day. Go to the doctors, you know, just go to the doctors. Now, Venustrophobia is next. And what is Venustrophobia, you might ask? Well, it's the fear of women, and specifically beautiful women. I mean, is there any man that doesn't have this? I have this so bad. You know, I see a beautiful woman walking down the street and I just go off crying in fright. Kidding aside though, this phobia kind of comes down to an intimidation thing and a rejection thing too, similar to public speaking. While horrible evolutionarily, in terms of methods of coping, not ever getting rejected can be comforting for a while, but young lads watching this video, go shoot your shot and don't be intimidated, just be respectful of the answer you get. I think that society's expectations towards women put this up on this massive pedestal, and that's really contributed to this fear. But you just got to remember that women are humans too. I mean, it's crazy because I didn't even know that till recently. I was as shocked as you when I found out. But yes, the female of the species are in fact just as confused in life as you, and so don't be afraid of them. If you see an attractive woman, go up, shoot your shot, and take it on the chin, you know? Oh, and ladies, if a guy asks you out, be nice about it, you know? It takes a lot of guts to kind of go up to someone that you don't know and just talk to them. So, you know, if you're going to turn them down, do it gracefully and respectfully. And I couldn't do Venustrophobia without doing androphobia, which is the fear of men, which women experience for a very different reason. While men are most afraid of women in terms of asking them out and stuff, women are afraid of men because, you know, men are the leading cause of women being unsafe. And whilst all men are not the cause of this, there's just enough men that are just stupid towards women that make a lot of women afraid of us. So men, if you're watching this video, you know, these ladies go through a lot, so don't be a don't try and scare them, I guess. You know, not every guy is going to do something crazy. It's a very small minority. But if you're like a 6'3", 200-pound guy walking down the same empty street at night as a 5'1", 120-pound woman, even if you're the nicest guy in the world, your presence is going to be a bit scary. So maybe just keep a safe distance. you know? And if your female friends want you to walk them somewhere, don't be a white knight, just be a good friend. Okay, we're getting into the more interesting ones now. So I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you if anyone watching has any of these fears from here on out. I'm sure it only affects a small amount of people, but I'd be interested to know what about them is so scary. So please let me know down in the comments if you have any of the fears from here on out. Nephophobia is the fear of clouds. The fear may be developed of traumatic events in the past or due to a hereditary or genetic kind of factor, which is the same for all fears, but like, who in your ancestral line would have been afraid of clowns and why? Like, why would you be afraid of clowns? Like, a clown killed my great-great-great-grandfather. Who killed this man? It was a cloud. You know, I don't get it. This is the first one. I just have no clue. Who's afraid of clouds, man? Like, clouds are awesome. Megariocophobia. That's how I'm going to pronounce that. Megariocophobia is the fear of cooking. I mean, how do you live like that? You know, cooking might not be the most glamorous thing in the world, but the good thing about cooking is afterwards you get food. So it's only net positive stuff. I mean, having done the smallest amount of research, I think that the fear is down to culinary mishaps. Like if you accidentally chopped off your thumb whilst trying to cut a panini in half, you might have this. But either way, the fear is just not good because either you get someone else to cook for you and never learn, and cooking is a very essential skill, or you just order takeaway every night, which really isn't good for your health. So learn to cook. If you're like a teenager or whatever, you don't know how to cook, learn to cook. Ask your parents, ask someone you know. Cooking is one of the most valuable skills that we can do, so learn to cook. Aerostatiophobia is the fear of petrol stations, often being spurred on by the knowledge that a petrol station can and does blow up sometimes. Petrol is extremely flammable, and I know that you're not meant to use your phones at petrol stations because it kind of messes up with something. In general, the petrol station can weirdly enough be a dangerous place to be. I mean, but it's such a obscure fear. I think it's quite insane. I had to include it just because it's so random. I quite like the petrol station myself because I just love the smell of petrol, even if it is toxic. Ephebiphobia, or maybe ephebiphobia, is the fear and hatred of teenagers. Yeah, I have this one too. I mean, not the fear though, the hatred. Fucking teenagers. You know, I don't know how you could be afraid of a man-made concept or even a stage in human development. But I mean, teens go skateboarding on the sidewalks, man. What can I say? They just go skateboarding on the sidewalks, you know? Wacky teenage hijinks. But they're also just trying to have fun, and you know, you don't have to go all Frank Heffley and set up booby traps for teenagers. You know, teens can be mean, but they're also stupid and they're just trying to pave their way in life. It might just be down to a bullying in high school thing because teenagers can sometimes be very awful to each other and to humans in general. But if you just, I don't know, if you just have a hatred for teenagers without any like reasoning why, just kind of like let it go, man. Podophobia is the fear of feet. Now, this is basically the opposite of weird foot fetish people, you know? Like, what even is this post? I'm literally shaking. I just realized that Mithra hasn't taken a bath in 500 years. That means her feet smell just incredible. My mouth is watering. Like, what the f is that? Either way, some people find feet weird and freaky. Approximately 1 in 1,000 people are said to have podophobia. Now, there are many reasons as to why it might happen, but the most likely answer is like the smell or the past experience of feet, like if you got kicked in the face all the time or if you got trod on. So that is possibly the cause of podophobia. Onomatophobia, I think it's more common than people think, but it's the fear of specific words. I know a lot of people shudder at specific words, and so I thought it'd be fun to play a little game right now to see if you have onomatophobia. I'm going to read out a list of a few of the most gross sounding words I found on the internet, and if you kind of cringe at any of the following, you might have onomatophobia. I'm going to kind of embellish it as well, just for added effect, but yeah, anyway, here we go. Pulp, mucus, slurp, dollop, lugubrious, ointment, phlegm, squelch, moist. And yeah, there we go. If you kind of cringe to any of them, you might have onomatophobia. Arachibutyrophobia. I'm not going to try and say that one again. This one's just so obscure, I had to put it in the list. Like, if you function like a normal human, Basically everything we've had so far you might have to deal with at some point in your life. You know, like teenagers are a part of society, moist is a commonly used word in the English language, spiders are everywhere. Trypophobia is two things, right? One, it's a horrible word to pronounce, but two, it's the fear of peanut butter sticking to the top of your mouth. How the can you be afraid of that? Just don't eat it. Don't eat peanut butter. I feel like this must be the easiest fear to live with because it's so simply avoided. I just feel as though someone who has this fear would also just hate peanut butter by association. The worst thing would be if you loved it and then you also have the fear that it's going to stick to the top of your mouth. I don't know, it's just so random. Thomas the Tank Engine phobia. I wonder what this one is. I mean, apparently the fear of Thomas the Tank Engine is like a common thing, because there's a word for it. I mean, in fairness, he looks a bit creepy, like his smile says, yeah, I brutally murdered him, but I'm completely okay with that. I can sleep easy at night. But yeah, some people are just weirdly enough afraid of one of the most iconic young children's characters in television, and maybe I can see why. I mean, he looks a bit weird, but I don't know, to have a fear of this dude, to have a fear of Thomas the Tank Engine is just, a bit out there. Anime phobia. I love kind of the entries down this low are either the longest words possible or just what they are, phobia. Like Thomas the Tank Engine phobia, anime phobia, but I have this. I hate anime. Every time I see a cool, mysterious anime guy, I just want to throw up. On a real though, like, what? I just don't understand. If you have anime phobia, let me know why. It kind of sounds like someone who hates anime. It kind of sounds like a marginalized group. It's like, stop being anime phobic. To be fair, probably like weebs and stuff. Like, stop being anime phobic against me. I'm only a weeb, right? That's our word. Terraphobia is the fear of the ground. I mean, how do you live like this? How do you live for this fear to happen? Like, how are you afraid of the thing that you stand on? I'm sure there might be a reason. I don't want to crap on anyone's fears in this video, but I just don't understand how you can be afraid of the ground. And ankylosaurus phobia is also something stupid. It's the fear of the ankylosaurus, which is like, firstly, how can you be afraid of a dinosaur because dinosaurs don't exist anymore, you know? But then out of all of them, why specifically the ankylosaurus? It's like, you know, first the dinosaurs are all dead, but even if they weren't, you should be afraid of all of them because, you know, like, why the ankylosaurus? Oh no, the dinosaurs have escaped Jurassic Park. Which ones? The T-Rex and, oh no, it's so bad. The ankylosaurus. God help us. Hippopotamonstrolus is the fear of long words. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about here, it's just a dumb fear. I just wanted to put it in here because I wanted to punish myself. I was going to try and do it like that weather guy that just pronounced that really long Welsh word, but hippopotamonstrosiquipidiaphobia. I mean, it's impossible, right? Although, whichever Chad troll made this name for the fear, it was a thing of genius. That was really a next level play. Whatever this word is, heftacasulophobia, I couldn't find it online, and like, I'm sorry, those are just letters. What kind of word needs to be this long? Like, that has to be a troll, right? But if anyone knows what that word is, I guess let me know. I mean, Apple TV phobia. Get in the bin, right? Like, this can't be a thing. Samsung, I'm fine, but Apple, run! What makes an Apple TV different to any other? And also, why would you be afraid of televisions? I just don't get it. I do not get it. Nontwisdelphobia. I can't. Do you want to know what this one is? Okay. Guess, put your guess down in the comments what you think nontwisdelphobia is. It is not having a picture for Throwback Thursday. Oh no, I don't have a picture for Throwback Thursday. Whatever will I do? If you have this phobia, what is up with you? Fucking A, don't chat shit. What? No, that is a troll. There's no way anyone on earth has that except for the most self-centered people in the world. Toblerone phobia is the fear of Toblerones. Communist. Megalochungophobia is the fear of big chungus. No, that's not a thing. Like, that has to be made up, right? Someone makes a meme of Bugs Bunny and people are shitting themselves over it. No, that has to be fake. I don't even know if I can finish this iceberg, legit. How many more brain cells am I going to lose? And lastly, we have phobia, the fear of Accumulatown or Furret Walk. It can also be extended to Centrit. People that watch certain episodes of the anime and see Furret in the Who's That Pokemon could experience heart attacks, and if not, their skin goes pale and it becomes hard to breathe. Saying or screaming Furret in front of these people randomly could have these effects, minus the heart attacks. Treatment for phobia is to give that person headphones, tie them down to a chair, and slowly play Accumulatown. Make the volume higher every time it repeats. Eventually, when the person is fine with the song, show images of Furret repeatedly and make him or her gain immunity. Now, to ensure they're safe from the fear, do not show them Rule 34 of Furret. It's disgusting. Fuck off! Fuck off! Honestly, that is the dumbest shit I have heard so far. There's some stuff here, man. Like, I don't want to judge. This video is all in good fun. But I have to feel like you have to admit that some of these are kind of like these more obscure fears. You have to admit they're stupid, right? So yeah, that's it from me. Shout out to Semideus for making this iceberg chart. And if you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of the community. We're building this thing from the ground up together. So if you enjoyed, I'd really like to have you along for the ride. We're starting to near on 2,000 subscribers. So, you know, get in before the 2K club. And as I said in my last video, I'm actually on spring break now, so hopefully I can upload a good few videos in the upcoming weeks. Follow me at FoxAkimbo on Twitter, join my Discord, link in the description, and send iceberg requests to foxakimbo@gmail.com. Aside from that, let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see me do next, because I'm only 32 videos in, and I'm already out of ideas. Thank you for watching.